Bryant McFadden here at Indy. NFL Combine 2026, now be joined by Pete Prisco, Ryan Carthon, and of course, so my far right, your left, General Manager of the Chicago Bears, Ryan Poles. Man, Ryan, thank you for joining me, man. How excited are you to be in year 2 with Ben Johnson as you guys get geared up for this Combine and look at these prospects?
Yeah, really excited. You know, anytime you get to spend a full year with somebody, you understand what they're looking for, both offensively but with DA as well, defensively. And our job is to give them the best athletes that we can to help improve our football team. And we want them to fit our scheme and what we're trying to do. So we have a unique challenge this offseason. We have some constraints cap-wise and all that. But there's some good opportunities to improve our football team, and we look forward to doing that.
So, Ryan, you went from having one head coach for one draft cycle, one player acquisition cycle, to having another head coach for another cycle. Can you just elaborate and show and tell, the audience about how important it is to have that consistency, being able to go into a year 2 from a player acquisition standpoint?
Yeah, really consistent. I think the relationships that those coaches build with the players, especially those core players, allows there to be growth year after year after year, and you can make that climb. When you make those changes, it's very difficult on the roster. You get new schemes, new verbiage. Now we're looking for our guys to play more efficiently and faster because they know exactly what's expected of them. They know how to go through training camp. They know how to practice. All those little things that they harp on early, that's there. We'll hit it early in our training and training camp. But from then, it's more about mastering our craft and mastering the scheme that our coaches put in front of them.
Now, you mentioned DA, and for those that don't know, that's Dennis Allen, the defensive coordinator.
We know who DA is.
I said for those.
Okay.
For those
we watch
that didn't
ball.
know.
We know ball.
All right,
You see what I got to deal with? You see what I got to deal with? One of the things I think is so underrated that what you guys were able to do was the coaching staff that you built.
Yeah.
And how you have a ton of players, a ton of former players on your staff, guys that can translate the verbiage and the language that you were speaking of. Talk about how important that assistant coaching staff has been to just the overall growth and maturation of the organization.
Yeah, I give Ben a lot of credit. He was very thoughtful in his hiring process. It's very easy to go, to your friends and the comfort. And when you actually go through an interview cycle and you put together what schemes pair well, what experiences pair well, and how you want that staff to look and feel, he did that at a very high level. Having the former players, that's something we talked about in the interview process with him and I early on. He wanted that credibility of being on the grass, and those guys can teach the proper mindset that you have to play this game. And they can bring it alive. The scheme, the X's and O's, they can bring it to the field and to the grass and make sure that those guys have a complete understanding of how they should feel, how it should look. And again, there's credibility there, and that blend that he put together with our staff was outstanding, and I think it's really important for our guys' development.
Speaking of Ben goes for it a lot on fourth down. I'm old school.
Yeah.
And he'll tell you, we sit there on Sunday and I'll say, what are you doing? Do you ever sit in the box and say, in the back of your mind, say, okay, maybe we need to rein this in a little bit and not go for it as much, or are you all in on that?
No. When I did my research, we did our research on Ben. He's an aggressive play caller. I think when you establish that early and you back it up through the entire season in different situations, your team has that mindset. There's no surprises in terms of when he wants to go for it. And a lot of times he prepared the team before we even got to the stadium of this is the mindset today, this is how we're going to operate, and this is the reason why. So when you have clarity with that, you're going to get the best from your guys. But there's understanding sometimes it's going to work, sometimes it's not. We signed up for that. I signed up for that, and I'm excited about it. And I reinforced that with him throughout the season. Don't ever change who you are. He'll learn with different situations, feel. But I want an aggressive head coach. I want an aggressive play caller. Our locker room wants that too, so we're good with that.
Let's go back to last offseason. And shouts out to you and your staff. You guys did a phenomenal job in free agency, in the draft. But I want to highlight the draft a year ago. At what point did you realize you had a special class, some notable names? You look at Colston, what he did, especially how he ended the season. He was on fire. You look at Kyle, you look at Luther. But at what point did you realize, man, we got some dudes that will make a significant impact on our overall team success with that draft class from 2025?
Yeah, I would say around that mid-season, and it was different for each player. If you've been doing this long enough, there's some flashes in OTAs, rookie mini camp, and you're like, all right, chill out. And then you get to camp, early camp, and you're like, I like that, what that looks like, and you're like, chill out. Because we've seen them all go up and fade, and they have different paths. When you see it on game day and you start to see week after week after week, that's when you get excited. So it was different for each one. I knew Colston. I never had a doubt in Colston. Even a little bit of a slower start was a little bit of what we were asking him to do to help the offense get going with protection. But then when you go to the Cincinnati game and he has a walk-off, touchdown, that's what we signed up for. Luther, had no questions about Luther. He put in the time, got better once he kind of got through some soft tissue stuff early. I think it was at Dallas. There's a deep shot, made an unbelievable play. There was something electric when he touches the ball. You could feel the whole stadium and the team come alive. Ozzie got his opportunity, did a great job before getting hurt. Kyle, he's Kyle. He just keeps chipping away. It's the same guy every single day. But when you saw the violence that he ran with, the toughness, that helped our mentality and our identity too. So different paths for each guy, but when we saw the consistency through the season, that's when we got really excited.
And you talked about Colston Loveland. I go back to a year ago when we were all kind of doing our draft board breakdown. Most had Tyler Warren as the tight end one for that draft class. And when you went out and select Colston where you did, it surprised a lot of people. For you, when you're in that war room with your staff, what type of guts does it take to be able to do something that might not be the consensus or the norm based on the expectations from outsiders, making a pick like Colston over Tyler?
Yeah, I think you got to lean into your room. You really have to not get caught up in the world outside your draft room. We have a really good process. We watch a lot of tape together. We have really deep conversations. We play games. We flip it. I brought DA in and watch these offensive guys. Who keeps you up at night? I want to hear that.
Yeah.
Same thing, Ben and it was Declan at the time watching the other side. What keeps you up at night? So we try to look at different angles all the time to understand who's going to give us the best advantage week in and week out. So once we made that decision, there was no hesitation. Even if there's a slow start for different reasons, we were confident that for that example, Colston was going to come alive, and he did, and we're excited about him moving forward.
Final question. Caleb Williams.
Yep.
Year 3, year 2 of this Ben Johnson offense. How excited are you guys to have him again, have him in this offense again, and the way he ended the season? I can say, and Pete and I, we watch every game together. There was not a moment where if you guys got the ball last and needed a score that we didn't believe that Caleb was going to drive down and get that score. How excited are you guys about having him being able to have another full offseason in this offense?
Yeah, we're excited. There is so much meat on the bone. He knows it. Ben knows it. They've had conversations. He's been challenged. I think one of the cool things is if you just listen to Caleb speak now, the amount of maturity that he's had from when he walked into the door to now, he's learned so much, and Ben was hard on him early. He had to do it the right way. I love a quarterback with a closer mindset and can put the game away, and the game's never out of reach. Now there's some foundational things and efficiency within his game that I think can put us in a situation where we don't need those crazy efforts at the very end. And we're going to get that. The work ethic is there, the passion for the game, the coachability, all of those pieces are there to just continue to grow.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan, man, best of luck to you and your staff as you get ready for another outstanding, entertaining 2026 season. And just not having a dog in the race, man, I really enjoyed watching you guys do your work and do your business because you do it the right way. And the same can be said for these guys as well, man. We appreciate your style of play, how you do it. Best of luck to you and the Bears this upcoming season. Ryan Post, General Manager, Chicago Bears.
Appreciate it.